Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. 14 punctuation marks with examples. We are taking an overview about the punctuation signs that we use in English writing, especially. So here we will discuss the breakdown the punctuation marks into 5 different categories. Sentence endings, that is the punctuation signs that we usually use at the end of a sentence, that is period, question mark, exclamation point. Secondly, comma, second category, comma, colons, and semicolons that you use that are different forms of commas or separators. Dash and hyphen, brackets, braces, and parenthesis, apostrophe, quotation marks, and ellipses. Number one is about full stops. The one is probably the most straightforward. You all know it's referred to as full stop. The period denotes the end of a sentence. A full sentence considered a full sentence. After the end of a full sentence, you use full stop. Secondly, look upon the example. The dog ran under the fence. The sentence is complete. You use full stop. Full stop or periods also used in abbreviations, in names and titles. Dr. Smith, Mr. H.R. Potter, front door to. So look the use. We have a quick review of the use of full stops. At the end of a declarative sentence, example, there is no place like home. After titles in American English, खास तौर पे in American English, particularly, you use a full stop sign at the end of titles. Look, Mr. Smith, this Mr. Smith. Secondly, Dr. Smith. In numbers, retail sales fell by 1.3 in January. Average price of goods rose by 2.2 points or full stop. Following abbreviations, look, the abbreviated form is April 20 and then etc. This is again the abbreviated form, so here they use this full stop sign. Secondly, question mark. Question mark is also used at the end of a sentence. However, it ends a sentence that is a direct or indirect question. And you know that when it is a question, it can be a statement or it can be a dialogue. The speaker or the writer wants to ask something and he is seeking some pieces of information. Sentences that are questions begin with what, how, when, where, why, or who. Here is how to use a question mark in a sentence. How do you like your eggs? You are asking a question. You are seeking for information. Why didn't you like movie last night? Generally, a question mark also denotes a shift in tone in a sentence if it is out loud. So look, we are having a quick review of the use of question mark. It is to end a direct question. It is where are you going? Are you mad? What is this? Is this the place? To indicate uncertainty. Look, when you are not certain about something, you also use question mark to tell that the writer is not certain about some certain piece of information. He lived till 1990 and this is the question mark. Look, this question mark, that is telling the writer is not certain about the exact date. Gandhiji, 2nd October 1869, again there is a question mark that is telling that the writer is not sure about his date of birth. In a series of questions, what? Why he isn't coming? When did he speak to him? So this is again the high tone and in a series of questions. To end a tag question, you know, when there are question tags like wasn't it, isn't it, isn't she, aren't you, these are the question tags that we use at the end of a sentence in order to ask for information, in order to ask for confirmation sometimes. His phone was stolen, wasn't? He is a great painter, isn't she? Indirect questions, these do not require a question mark. When you are using this in indirect narration, you will not end a sentence with the question mark. John asked Mary to marry him. Asked, right? So next is an exclamation point. An exclamation point or an exclamation mark is also used at when that sentence expresses an intense emotion. The expression can be a variety of things from excitement, disgust, anger, joy, or anything else. Exclamation points are meant to add emphasis to a sentence that certain character is very excited. Number 3 is comma. Commas are used to insert a pause into a sentence. The purpose of pause can be for different reasons, such as to separate ideas, phrases, or even alter the structure of a sentence. This is basically the commas are separators that we use in a series of to separate different things, to give pause or to separate different ideas. Commas have a few different uses. Commas are used for direct address, such as Joe, it was nice to see you again, Joe. We want to separate this noun or this person or this character from the rest of the sentence, so we have used this word, this comma here, Joe. They are also used to separate two complete sentences. When you are writing two complete sentences, instead of using any in and that yet, you can just put this this to library and then he went out for lunch. Commas can also be used to list items. When you are listing some items and it is more than 3, then you will use this comma. She went for shopping and bought shoes, dress, 2 shirts, and a pair of pants. Commas are one of the most misused punctuation points. Sometimes we use it in the wrong place. That is called comma splices. That is called what? Comma splices. A comma splice is when you join two independent clauses with the comma instead of a conjunction. For example, when you want to separate two different words in a compound or complex sentence, you will have to use a conjunction point instead of comma. And when ideally you should use conjunction, you use comma. It is called comma splices, right? So next, coming to the next, colons. A colon has 3 primary uses. Look, that these are the 3 primary uses. One way to use it is when introducing something such as a quote, an example, a series, or an explanation. When you want to explain something, exemplify something, or when you want to write some series, you will use this colon sign. For example, she took 4 classes last semester. She took 4 classes. So these 4 classes are further explained: history, biology, arts, and economics. So this sign, this colon sign, is telling you that these 4 classes are now to be explained in the next sentence. A colon can also be used to link two independent clauses. It is used to link two independent clauses if the second clause clarifies or completes the first one. But what is the condition in the second clause? The second clause clarifies the first position or the first clause. They didn't have time to waste. It was already late. It was already late is further explaining the first half of the sentence, though both sentences are complete ideas, but this is explaining the first clause or the first sentence, so we use it in a to explain. It is explaining some ideas. Finally, a colon can also emphasize a subject in a sentence. Emphasize a subject. What is this subject? I only hate one vegetable. One vegetable is a sentence, is the subject, and this is the explanation: Brussels sprout. So again, if you want to keep the very, very short definition in your mind, that you will put this in your mind. These colons are used to explain, exemplify, and to tell something that is going to discuss in the next half of your sentence or the next half of your text. Semicolon. This is similar to colon, but there is semicolon links to independent clauses. However, in this case, the clauses are more closely related than when you would use a colon. When you use the colon, it is very much definite that these are two different and two separate sentences. But in the case of semicolon, it is the sentence are more closely related, and both clauses are independent enough to be their own sentence, but instead of using a period, it is possible to use a semicolon to show both clauses are connected. So when you are writing complex sentences, you are writing compound sentences, and you want to show that these two different sentences are closely connected, you will not use a full stop, you will use this semicolon. And other less common use for semicolon is written in is within a list of that uses commas. This is less common use of semicolon is we use is instead of commas. But if you are confused, you should prefer using commas. Okay, France, Rome, Italy, and Athens and Greece. What is last summer we traveled to London, England, Paris. So you can also use commas and these semicolons. Secondly, dash. There are few types of dashes that vary in size and uses. So when you are talking about dashes, you should also know their different uses. Firstly, end dash. End dash is typically shorter in length, and the end dash is used to denote a range such as between numbers or dates. When you are using this end dash, you can use it between numbers and dates. For example, the company was operational from 1990 to 2000. He took the Chicago, New York train. So this is to separate two different, where we use when the end used to denote a range such as in between numbers or dates, right? So, or M dash. The second form of dash is M dash. N dash and M dash is this dash is longer. It is sometimes used instead of other pronunciation marks like parenthesis, commas, or colons. So you can replace a comma, you can replace a parenthesis or with this dash. That is the longer dash. This is to explain something that is further that has been said earlier. Here her answer was a clear yes. So when you use the right sign at the right place, the reader is now in a better position to read it aloud and to understand the expressions of the character or the writer he wants to communicate. Hyphens. Hyphens. So you look that there are three different types of dashes. This one dash, that is M dash, that is N dash. N dash is shorter, M dash is longer, and then a hyphen. This is also like a dash, but it should not be confused with dash. A dash is used in the compound words when two or more words are connected. But what is hyphen? Here are the examples of hyphenated words: step by step, mother-in-law, ex-boyfriend. So this is the N dash is used to separate dates. So, and this dash is used to separate different words: step by step, mother-in-law, ex-boyfriend. Now coming to the brackets. Brackets are used to clarify something for technical terms or explanation. So brackets are usually used where? Here the writer has just said technical terms and explanations. When you want to explain something and you're writing a scientific text and you are explaining something, it is recommended that you should this parenthesis like this. Secondly, clarify some next. She, Mrs. Smith, agrees that cats are better than dogs. She, Mrs. Smith. You can also use commas instead of parentheses, and it will be fine and okay. Okay, braces. These it is usually you will need to use braces very often unless you are writing a mathematical or technical text, right? These are the technicalities. These terms are used in technical text. You all have once used while you are using your text like this. So these are the brackets that you use when you are writing. Parentheses. Parentheses are used to supply further details or information or as an aside, right? When you are writing something and you want to explain something, you give an additional pieces of information, you use these parentheses. Parentheses can often be replaced by commas. Sometimes we can use even comma without disturbing the punctuation sign. So this is they are interchangeable. You can use either comma or you can use either parentheses. Next, apostrophes. Apostrophes are a single comma type thing that comma is used in between the sentence and the this apostrophe sign is used at the top. Apostrophes are meant to show that a letter or letters have been omitted and also to indicate that possessive or contractions. So there are two uses in possessive cases and contracted cases, and when in abbreviations. So here we will use the example. We have understood it with the example we will use. I've been working from, so this sign is telling that this is not I've, this is I have, and the writer have contracted this word I have instead of using I've. Don't this, it's right. Secondly, this is used for possessions. Rebecca's dog, right? The dog belongs to Rebecca. So, then apostrophe is used in order to tell you something that's left, all that's left. This apostrophe sign tells you that it is a contracted form or some words have been omitted. Now coming to the quotation marks. Quotation marks are used to denote text, speech, or words spoken by someone else. It is also used to indicate dialogue. When you are writing and you are writing a dialogue and you are suggesting that some certain character is speaking, you separate the speech of different characters by using these inverted commas or these quotation marks. The quotation marks are used to tell that this is the exact word or some certain character. For example, I don't like this, said Mark. So this quotation mark is telling that this is the speech of the Mark. She told him that she preferred not to think about it. So this quotation marks is telling you that it is her exact words. Single quotation mark, not to be confused with apostrophes, are often used for a quotation within a quote. When you are writing a quotation within a quote, then you will use single quotation signs. Jill told her mother Jack ran up the hill and he said he was going to fetch a pail of water before he fell. So this single quotation mark is used to put or insert another quotation within quotation. Ellipsis. An ellipsis is 3 points, 3 periods, 3 full stops used together to represent an omission of words or letters. When you are writing and you want to omit some word signs, you have omitted some text. For example, when you are you are quoting something, sometimes you use unnecessary words that you do not require. Then you use this ellipsis sign. At midnight, she began to count down 10, 9, and then the ball dropped. When Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, he was talking about civil rights and an end of racism. So this was all about the use of punctuation marks that we have tried to cover in one lecture. Assalamu alaikum.